Has been, and about 2 weeks ago I was giggling the other night because I saw an article talking about the Chancellor of Germany saying that Ukraine will not be allowed to be a member of NATO. But 2 weeks ago I said we are there to remove the NATO alliance, we're there to remove the deep state government of Ukraine.
Yeah.
And the NATO alliance is there, and the special forces of Russia is supported by us. I was the one that said Ukraine will not be allowed to join NATO, and I was the one that invited President Putin to join the NATO alliance. So they're 2 weeks behind there, but they're getting the idea that Queen Romana is their new boss.
Good.
It's kind of like the conspiracy and the truth. They're usually 6 months apart, you know, so maybe it's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
weeks,
yeah.
right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Well, you have
Wow.
to ease people into it too,
Yeah.
right? You don't want to overwhelm them because they might panic.
yes.
Yeah.
Because I was in Ottawa when I made a video inviting President Putin into the NATO alliance, and I said Ukraine will not be allowed to join NATO alliance, and that Ukraine will return to Russia because it was part of USSR
Yes.
Yeah.
before they remove
Yeah.
Gorbachev.
Exactly.
Yes.
So how do you see this situation going forward? That Putin, when he finishes the cleanup, he will just take his forces and go back, and will people of the rest of the world start to recognize the situation and not villainize him?
Oh yes, exactly. Now actually, I saw. Well, now Germany has said that we will not invite Ukraine into NATO alliance. And then the other night I saw a news from France saying that it is actually the Ukraine deep state government military that is dropping random bombs on their people, not
Yes.
Russia. Because I said specifically, Russia is only targeting military infrastructure to disable the government, the deep state government. So, as I said, the news, whatever I say here, takes about 2 weeks
Yeah.
to get to the other side of the world. But I said, now they're recognizing who the boss is.
We need a big EBS, you know.
Okay?
We really do. We need a big EBS, right?
I don't know.
Because I don't
Your
know.
queen is the one who's been doing EBS. You know, it's like, okay, she's the
But
one that
it's
said,
like certain-
Putin,
you
you're
know.
welcome into NATO.
Yeah.
I said, I'm the one, first head of state in the world that said we are removing Ukraine deep state government.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was also the one that gave instructions to the United States Armed Forces to back our troops, because we have 100,000. Yeah, I wouldn't know that, eh? We have 100,000
Yes.
people, military personnel in Europe. And then I said, back them up, and do not interfere in Russia. And then the same thing with NATO. So we backed them up, the NATO alliance, backed them up all the way to Poland and Hungary. So I said, back them up and allow Putin to clean up, quick, sweep.
Right.
Oh.
Sweep and fast
That.
and quick. Yes. So,
Mainstream media.
oh, the
When is
mainstream.
that going down,
Oh.
please?
The mainstream.
Like, whoa.
Well, right now, mainstream
I can't
media,
take it.
we're using them to show just how fake the news are.
Yeah, people have to see it.
Yes,
Yeah,
they have to see it.
Yes.
Like, for example, Fox News, we asked them to report on the fake cardboard gun.
Oh my gosh, I saw
Yes,
that.
that fell off,
Oh, I saw
right?
that.
Yes.
So they're playing their role, and then once that's done, then we will remove them. But the other day I said we have to remove this, especially Western media.
Oh,
Yes,
Lord.
But they have been the ones declaring war on Russia, and then I said no,
Yes.
there's no war in Ukraine, and Russia is not doing anything because Russia supported by us, the alliance. So
But they are showing themselves. They're showing their hand. Everything is in order for the darkness come away, has to be brought into the light. So
That's
it's
true.
all being
Yes.
brought out to the light. And I mean,
yes.
really, this is about going from 3D beings to 5D. So I mean, You know, we have to raise our frequency, and
Yeah.
all that stuff has to be gone. And I mean, it's been here for hundreds, thousands of years. So
That's right.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know, this never happened in the last 2 years since Corona started. It was just a tool to get it out into
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
into the open.
And yet there has to be destruction in order to rebuild things. And fortunately, everything has to go because all the systems just don't work anymore.
Yes. All the
They're
systems-
taking too much from the people, and we're just giving everything we got and not getting anything back in
Yeah,
return.
nothing else to give.
Well, the good news is that we have cut them off financially, all of their authorization, everything as of February 7th. So many of you guys saw all the decrees, there's investment
yeah,
here,
saw all
investment
this.
so that we the people can
Yeah.
have, and so that'll take several weeks for them to organize and start like the 125 billion unemployment plus emergency funds that I have issued for food and housing. I've noticed that every time I issue a royal decree releasing funds, they take several weeks. Like they did in November, the CRA, which is no longer a CRA by the way, but it's
Oh,
there
yeah.
until I fixed it
Yeah.
and changed the name.
Interesting.
CRA
Yeah.
started a new program. And of course, they're the ones taking credit for it. But
Yep.
yeah. Mhm. So they started a new program, and then they allowed the people to apply back December 19th because they refused because they had run out of money. So I had to do royal decree to continue the funds. So that's why it took them until December 19th to allow for everyone to apply again, and I have to do this one again. So they'll come up with yet another fancy footwork
yeah.
name to give credit to the fake Trudeau, the dead Trudeau,
Yes.
that has had his milkshake already. And I mean, I keep saying CGI, or they have the not only the CGI but the fake people now has to the clones. I
Yeah.
said they have to start their twitching, and a lot
Yeah.
of them are beginning now to
I
twitch
see a few
because I said
the
yes.
glitches, you
Right?
can see it.
The glitches,
Yeah,
they have
yeah.
to
Right.
start.
Yeah,
So
you can see
you
it.
can see that those people are actually clones,
Yes.
and they're not humans.
Wow.
And the more I say glitch, 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 the more they're showing the glitches. But it takes a few days when I say show this, and then they start showing a few days later. But
Yeah.
it's happening, and so you guys will see more glitches, and but the Ottawa is a complete shenanigans, and they're there to keep the illusion until we have finished all the transition, and then off they go, because they're not actually humans.
Well, that's happening in Washington D.C. as well. And
Yeah.
Kelly Brady goes in every day and
Yes.
films things, and she's been a Facebook friend of mine for a couple of years before she actually started doing her daily Johnson and filming all the strange things and the unoccupied buildings and how
Oh,
the
yeah.
flags are flying and whatever.
Yes.
But it's hard to believe we're in a world where we can't believe anything we hear and not even what we see. Because with CGI, cloning,
Yes.
face masks and whatever,
I'm not a CGI, by the way. I don't have any.
We're waiting for that
I'm
glitch
not
there.
a clone either. I'm not a clone either, you guys. I have imperfect skin because the clones have perfect skin, eh? And they're like rubbery.
Oh,
Yes, that's how you
wow,
can
yeah.
tell. It's like perfect, as if they've just been born.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
But in
And-
saying that, we should be questioning everything, even our own thoughts, because everything's all based on perception, right? So
Yes.
just because
Yeah.
we perceive a situation in a certain way doesn't mean that we're correct. Or
That
a
is
person with the opposite
Yeah.
opinion is correct. It just is.
It's just different opinion, and it is according to your perception.
That's why we should
that's right.
question absolutely everything.
that's right.
Like even my own thoughts. I'm like, well, I can't even really trust my own thoughts. So
Well,
how do
you
trust
know what they
anyone else?
did is that the dark forces were using technologies to broadcast.
Yes.
Just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
using the Wi-Fi, right?
Yeah.
Broadcast negative thoughts to people. And,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And beings that are to do the same thing. Dead Sea
Yes.
Scrolls, 1/3 of Dead Sea Scrolls is about that thought adjuster, so on and so
Yeah.
forth. So we've been aware of them. So we always second guess all our thoughts and make sure it's our thoughts and not
I
from
always do
something
this.
else.
Yeah.
It's like align. Celestial beings align.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
connect to the source for sure. Yeah.
Yes.
We're just excited to get our land back. Like we're hunter gatherers,
Yes.
and we've lost the ability to
Feed ourselves.
hunt and get and feed ourselves. We're forced to buy
Because-
supermarket store food,
Poison.
poison salmon, farm salmon, stuff like that. So
No.
that's all we really want in our life. Just to be able to live off the land
Exactly.
and not have
yeah.
to be persecuted or run from the law because we're trying to feed ourselves or our family.
Yes, exactly.
I mean,
It's different if you're
It's awesome.
taking advantage of it, but if you're using it to sustain yourself and you're doing it in a way where you'll still have those resources for your future, then it
Yes.
shouldn't be an issue, right?
Yes,
But
that's why.
proper education for everybody on harvesting and stuff
Yes.
is very important also.
Yeah, and that's why I started with the fisheries, and I said, listen, okay, everyone should be able to fish anywhere in Canada to feed themselves and to make a decent living.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's just common sense.
Right.
But
That's
of
right,
course,
yeah.
when you're dealing with the corporation, they don't care about feeding the people. It's all about money and
Yeah.
you know how much they can take for themselves.
that's right. Yeah, like Robin Hood days.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no difference.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
and it's amazing because they've been projecting onto me that I'm apparently, what was that? The latest one was that I'm a paid distraction of a foreign government, and that because I had left, and also because I had left the Canada First when it was hacked back in 2021 May. After they saw my video, they hacked the Canada First, and then they left their traces there. So I said, okay, we'll leave it there so that people will know who did what to the website. And then it still says there that, thank you for donating to Liberal Party.
Oh, yes, I
mhm.
heard about that.
Yes, and then several times I had said that that Canada First does not have an account, and the money that was sent there goes to the third party, like PayPal and Stripe in this case is the name of the third party that handles that collects the money first before you can transfer it to whatever bank account you want. And I've been taking a snapshot of every email that Stripe have sent saying we have this money here but we don't have a bank account. So anyhow, it's funny, and as I said, the latest projection they have is that I'm a paid distraction and paid what is it?
Well, they're not paying you enough.
Exactly, a paid a paid opposition. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but the Queen doesn't have an opposition. Why does the Queen need to be an opposition?
Yeah.
And by the way, how can I be paid by the Chinese Communist Party when I'm the one that removed them from Canada?
People don't use common sense.
So anyways,
Right.
yeah.
Well, the best form of government is supposed to be a benevolent monarchy, because we know democracy is not really a democracy.
Exactly.
No,
Even when we
exactly.
thought it was, we certainly know now
Yes.
that we don't live in a
Yes.
democracy. We live in a dictatorship right now.
Yes. That's what
Sure,
that's what they had
absolutely.
done with.
Yeah,
And a lot of people I know that.
Yes.
Even people who aren't aware of the dynamics behind the scene,
Yes.
people who are partially awake will admit things like that to me.
Which is true. And I said also that we the people on planet Earth contributed to their oppression, because politics and religion, two things that divide. And
Absolutely.
when people start saying, well, your religion is this, mine is here, and then they start saying, well, my God is better than yours, that's
Absolutely.
division.
Yeah.
And then you have
Absolutely.
politics that says, well, my political party is better than yours, and that's division. So I said, no politics, no religion in Canada. There was a gentleman that asked me the other night about his religion. And then I said, I'm not here to ask you to follow me. I'm not here to create another religion. I go straight to source.
Right.
Yes.
And he said, but the blah blah blah, the teachings. And then I said, listen, if you need an intermediary to speak to your God, I have a question for you. Why do you need, if that's your father up there, why do you need somebody to talk to your dad? Let's just keep it simple.
Absolutely.
Yes, and he said, well, how do you know that how would I know that what you're telling me is true? And then I said, well, how do you know that what you have been taught is true?
That's right.
So I said, just go to source, and when you're aligned, you'll know. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
Yes. When you have your own
Exactly.
cosmic experience,
Yes.
you have a knowing,
Exactly.
and no one can tell you you don't know it.
That's
you,
correct.
You absolutely know
Yes.
that something has happened,
Mhm.
what it is, that it's true,
Yes.
and nobody needs to validate that.
Exactly. Yes.
Absolutely not.
That's how I feel. Like, I know.
Yes.
Now,
Exactly.
now we feel that, we know evidence there too that they actually use the food system to break that connection between people and source.
Keep us suppressed.
They keep us suppressed.
Oh, yes,
So
yes,
that's
yes.
why they wouldn't allow us to hunt or fish our own food from Mother Earth, because they knew that would open the door, of course, to source,
Correct.
and we'd have the right answers for ourselves.
Correct.
Yes.
And that's why now I'm reversing everything that the corporation and removing everything that the corporation has done to we the people. And yesterday, one of my royal decrees was to nationalize all of the natural resources, and that means every single Canadian owns our natural resources.
Perfect.
Which
Yeah.
we should.
Yes,
Because
exactly.
they took
yes.
all of our
Wonderful.
natural medicines away from us, poisoned it, and gave it back to us.
Yes. Yeah. So
Yeah.
now they're okay. Who owns the natural resources? It's we the people. It's not the Queen.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, when there's
Wonderful.
enough for everyone, and we live in a spirit of cooperation and not competition, then there's enough for everyone.
That's correct.
And this is
Exactly.
why I no longer support